Thanks for having me. Excited to be here. Frank talked about a lot of cool things, a lot of things that transpired over my career here in 2002 to 2005. First and foremost, a great time for Lobo football. I think that's what I recollect the most, is going back throughout those times and just 40,000 people and just the atmosphere and just everyone loving football and it just being a great time. Big wins, a part of a lot of awesome things. So for it to all kind of culminate into now what we look over there and see is humbling, to say the least. There's a lot of mixed emotions that are tied in with this. Is it really happening? What's it gonna look like? But now I can look over there and kind of take a look when the time is right. But yeah, just excited that I'm a part of a prestigious group, and that all the hard work of me and my teammates all those years ago turned into this. So I don't know what my emotions will be like. They might go from crying to doing a backflip. I'll try not to pull a hamstring if I do that, but just excited, extremely excited, and for it all to be full circle. Coach Gonzalez, Coach Long, who were a part of all that, now being at the helm, makes it even that much more special. Still to this day, I can go out to an Albertsons or go somewhere and someone says, oh, hey, and that's pretty unique. That's pretty awesome to still be, like Frank said, 15 years ago was my last season here, and to still be able to be remembered and revered is something that I'll cherish. And now when my family and friends and loved ones come to the university, they'll be able to take a gander up there and see their son from Roswell, New Mexico, up there immortalized forever. So extremely excited, extremely gratified to be here.
Are you going to have a talk with Dumas before the game?
No, ironically about Dumas, one of my cousins was at the game and he texted and said, hey, what's going to happen with Dumas's number? And I had to explain to him that the reality is it's up there immortalized, but what Coach Gonzalez is doing with the numbers is an amazing thing. I'm all on board with that, and allowing those numbers of greats to be worn by those potential athletes who deserve it. And so I talked to him after the last game, and we go back and forth. So it's all love for Mr. Dumas, and hopefully nothing but success for him. It's kind of comical how I found out about all of this. I'm on the field at College Station, and Dave Williams comes up and says, "Hey," says something about kind of a promotion deal. And I was like, "Wait, what?" Kind of turn around, I'm like, I look at Robert, and I'm like. So he runs off, and I'm like, okay, well, what's going on? So then I'm kind of running through all in my mind. Then I get ready because, we're about to get ready to go against A&M. And then Eddie comes out, pulls me out, and says, hey, I need to talk to you. He's like, I don't know what you've really heard. And I said, well, I kind of heard something on the field, but Dave ran away, so I'm not really sure, what to kind of think of. He's like, well, we want to do this. We want to do this. We're going to do it this. And I said, oh, okay. So there's a lot going on. So it was kind of like this. So many working parts, and everyone was extremely awesome to get it done. And then when it came to me, it was kind of like, oh, well, we probably should have contacted him, kind of see what was going on. So it was kind of a weird way to find out, but it was cool. And then I talked to them, and they were awesome about trying to reschedule some things and make it work for my family and friends. And they've been absolutely amazing since then. But the way I found out, was just kind of funny because they were already working on it. They were trying to do what they feel was right, and I appreciate it. Appreciate you, Coach Gonzalez, and all of those things. It's just awesome, and the way I found out was kind of funny on the field and in passing, but then it all kind of got worked out.
DonTrell.
Yes, sir.
One fun question. If it was written in the mandates that graduates could come back in time and have one more play, how would you do? What kind of play would you want called for you? How would you do it?
It's a great question. And I want to preface that with something Coach Long told me on the field at College Station, and then what he brought up again in L.A. was that when I walked up and said hello as I'm looking on the field, Coach Long says, Coach, DonTrell looks like you can still play a little bit. And I jokingly say, well, I can probably get you a half. Coach Gonzalez says, are you sure? These some big old kids. Big defensive lineman walked by from Texas A&M. I go, I could probably get you a quarter, So different times, but The reality is I know the play. There's 2 plays, so if I can cheat and steal 2 plays, if they pull me out of retirement and say you have 2 plays, the first play would be 22 zone. 22 peel with the big guys up front, and it's guts. You block your guy, and DonTrell will handle the rest. That's what Coach Long's mentality was. That was our mentality. We're going to dominate the line of scrimmage, and whatever we don't block, DonTrell will take care of. That's 22 peel, 22 zone. It's no doubt what that play would be called. And then the other play would be draw. I think about draw because there's a couple of big wins that we had here at University. We beat Texas Tech in 2004 for the first time. And on that last drive, there was 4 draw plays. I only had like 98 yards that game, and I think half of those yards were on a draw play to set up the game-winning field goal here in the fourth quarter. So it'd be draw. It allows me to kind of, and then kind of pick my poison and do that. In 22 peel for sure. So those are the 2 plays that I'd run right now.
The one play you'll never forget. You're driving on the freeway and a play comes into mind regularly. What play is it?
Colorado State 2003 ESPN. I really know this. Wow. Colorado State ESPN 2003. They were ranked. They were the beacon of our conference at that time. Ironically, that I'm being honored because I had averaged almost 200 yards a game against them. So it's kind of ironic to be being honored against them. But third quarter, 64-yard touchdown run, I believe it was. It was just a peel play. I made the safety miss. As Robert Portnoy says, I undressed somebody right there, made him fall down, and I took it to the house. And, we went on to win that game. And so it was just a great game, a great time. I want to say, Frank would probably know this number, 42,000 or something in the stands. It was something crazy, 39, something crazy. It was electric. And I felt that and remember feeling what that felt like. And when I'm driving by, sometimes I do kind of still feel that. I still feel the amazingness of that time of football and scoring that touchdown to kind of put us away and walk off with that win. So it was pretty electric for sure.
Anything else for DonTrell?
Back when you were going through the recruiting process, what other offers were you getting and why did you pick them?
So I wasn't very good out of high school. I had no offers. No, I'm just joking. It's crazy because I think back to that time, and as far as letters go, like letters, I had literally 10,000 letters from every single coach in the country. I got it down to 5, which was Notre Dame, Colorado State, Nebraska, New Mexico, and North Carolina. Thank you, Coach. I'm a Tar Heel fan. I've been a Tar Heel fan since I was 3 years old. I love Tar Heel basketball, Michael Jordan, so that was my affinity to them. And Coach Gonzalez is absolutely right. It was North Carolina. So I knew where I wanted to go. I just knew at the time my mom wanted me to kind of go and see other things and make sure I got out of the state. And then ultimately I ended up making the right decision for a lot of reasons. Coach Long sits on your couch, and you kind of stare into those blue piercing eyes. You know that there's this realness about it that I still feel to this day. I'm not joking. I tell my friends it's crazy. But I knew that's where I wanted to go. I didn't want to go to Notre Dame because I didn't want to go over there, and if I was good enough, still be, have to sit or, I call it politicked, So Nebraska was thinking of a position switch, and I just was, you know what? So I sat down, I listened to it, and I wanted my mom to be able to come to every single game. She never missed a home game out here 4 years. And that to me is still something that gets me going, and I still feel the love and the passion of all my friends and family who used to show up and used to sit right over there in the numbers. This Saturday for Colorado State, I have over 100 friends and family members that are coming to cheer on the Lobos to beat CSU first and foremost, and to honor and show love for what's happening, what the university is doing for me. So it's an awesome time. I made the right decision. But yeah, that's kind of what it was. It was a crazy process. I didn't like it. I like to just kind of let my film do the work. I don't like to have to tease and do all those things and talk about myself. I want to do that. Check out the film, ask me about myself as a person, and then you make the decision. And so me having to kind of choose and was tough, but I know I made the right decision.
You've heard a lot about, it was a long time coming to get your room up there. Did you hear about that too? Did you hear people say that to you?
So not to put a damper on things, but yes, that was kind of the theme from people, what took so long, or it's been a long time coming, and, who knows? And I don't get myself involved in that, try not to get myself involved in that. The reality is it's here. We're excited about it. Who knows what the process was, or who knows why it didn't happen, 10 years ago or 5 years ago or whenever. But that has been the theme. I have heard that. But I've, kind of put it to bed and say, you know what, just come on out, enjoy it, enjoy the festivities, support the Lobos, support that, and let's just enjoy it.
DonTrell, you're from Roswell. What's the craziest question worldwide you ever heard about the Martians in your hometown?
I'm not sure the craziest question, but I used to greet people with, I went to school with a couple Martians, and so they thought it was funny. I remember when I was with the Jets, and OTAs and stuff right at training camp, and you're from Roswell, and it's crazy how people forget that New Mexico is a state. I don't understand that, but you speak Spanish, you speak English? I'm like, no, it's New Mexico. And I would say, yeah, I went to school with a couple of aliens. You guys heard of Roswell? So they would laugh and joke, and then that was kind of the going joke for about 2 weeks, and then it kind of faded. And then as I've traveled around the world, people still kind of bring it up, but if I was an alien or if I was a Martian, they asked, and if I've ever seen any. So my answer is always, yeah, I went to school with a couple, and they laugh and we move on.
And
any other non-alien questions?
being from New Mexico, it has to be even that more special to be honored.
Absolutely. Like I said, for me, New Mexico was always where I wanted to go, where my heart was, even though I didn't know, because I never really thought about playing college football or professional football. I just enjoyed what I was doing at the time. And then when it kind of started to kick in, I was like, yeah. And now you look back all these years later and being able to represent my home school and my home state is my life's greatest honor. It is really one of my life's greatest honors to be able to have grown up in the state of New Mexico, win a state championship in Roswell, and then come here and have the success that we had as a team. I know we talk about the accolades, and I appreciate all those, and I worked my tail off to earn those all, but the reality is it was a collection of members who all had to gel together to create that magic that I call as, that 2002 to 2005 era. I was a part of it. I'm a big part of it. I realized that, but the reality is we all kind of gelled together. And the other thing is people weren't from New Mexico, right? We had a lot of players from California, a lot of players from Texas during that time. So it was my job, myself, Hank Baskett, Cole McCamey, Ryan Cook, Speaks, to kind of get those players to buy into what we wanted to do, because it's a different play. It's a different kind of thing. And that was, I remember, part of what I did. I remember in study hall my freshman year, second floor, that the hour and a half that we were up there, most of it was us spending, me and us Roswell guys and us New Mexico guys telling those guys why they needed to be here, what's important about being here, and buying into the New Mexico way. Because, everything was bigger and better in Texas and all that stuff. Well, you're here with us right now. Let's rock and roll. And they got it. And we had some really tough teams, offensively and defensively. So being from the state of New Mexico means a lot to me. And I showed that not only in my play, but in the way I rallied the troops to kind of buy into what that meant, both from us and both from a New Mexico standpoint.